This video has been made possible by World of Tanks. World of Tanks is the first MMO of its kind, a team-based game of armored warfare where players partake in epic tank battles. World of Tanks emphasizes strategic gameplay and teamwork, giving players the choice of over 600 tanks to fight with, allowing them upgrades according to their role and playstyle. The deeper you delve into it, the more World of Tanks grows into a delightful playground of deadly rolling metal and military might, with a sweeping array of updated visual flourishes, fresh battlegrounds, and a steady drip of enticing new content. Enter the code TANKMANIA to receive the Tier 5 Excelsior tank, 250,000 credits, and 7 days of premium access. Jump into the free online game World of Tanks today using our first link in the description. If you want to learn more about tanks used throughout history, check out World of Tanks Tankfest stream on the 19th of September via the second link in the description. The Kugelpanzer. During World War II, the German army used over 70 different types of armored fighting vehicles. Some of them gained iconic status and were produced in the thousands. Others never got beyond the gates of the testing grounds. There were marvelous examples of technical engineering among the prototype vehicles, and there were those that were just downright bizarre. One of these was the Kugelpanzer, a spherical tank produced as a one-off. The Kugelpanzer had a rather unusual design. It consisted of a 5mm thick steel round shell that was only big enough to house one operator. The rear side of the shell was fitted with a small entrance door. Apart from the driver's seat, the inside of the tank consisted of an engine, a radio station, a steering system, and a firing system. At the front, there was a vision slit positioned in line with the driver's eyes. The lower part of the front probably had a machine gun slot. The only surviving example of the Kugelpanzer has an iron plate welded across the slot to cover it. On the sides of the shell, there were two angled hemispheres, 4.9 feet or 1.5 meters in diameter. These were the rollers that helped the tank move across the open terrain. The advantage of large wheels was that they allowed the vehicle to overcome any obstacles with greater ease. Also, the spherical design of the rollers was intended to deflect small arms fire. The rollers were powered by a single-cylinder two-stroke engine. With the tank's overall weight of 1.8 tons, the small 25-horsepower engine failed to provide a speed of over 5 miles per hour, or about 8 kilometers an hour. The steering system was connected to a small wheel mounted on a tail extension that also provided better stability for the tank. In the age of modern mobile warfare, relative to World War II, designs like the Kugelpanzer just seemed totally irrelevant. A one-man, slow, spherical vehicle hardly fitted with the tactics of the Blitzkrieg. It was more like a relic from the previous conflict. During World War I, one of the most significant issues on the battlefield for both sides was moving across no man's land when launching assaults into the enemy trench systems. Combatants on either side tried to resolve the problem by introducing mobile shields. These small, manually propelled shields proved ineffective on the battlefield, but served as a basis for further research and development. The evolution of tanks as weapons gave birth to a new design. The idea was to create a combination of the mobile shield and a tank. During World War I and in the post-war period, several such designs were made, varying in size and shape. These were the German Trefferwagen and Vargel LW-3, the Soviet counter-tank Djokic, the Italian Ansaldo Mias Moras mini-tank, and the American Tumbleweed tank. These tanks, however, never saw extensive use, as only their prototypes were made, or they were only produced in small quantities. It's assumed that the Kugelpanzer was yet another design in the series of vehicles based on the alternative approach to making armored vehicles. Before World War II started, the concept of static warfare was still present in the minds of the leading military strategists, along with the problem of no man's land. This was the probable reason why concepts such as the Kugelpanzer were still on the design table. There is a possibility that the Kugelpanzer was intended to be used as a reconnaissance vehicle, or as a cable layer, or even as an artillery spotter, but because there are practically no records kept about it, there were only assumptions on the actual idea behind the concept. The only surviving example is located in the Kubinka Tank Museum in Russia. There are no clear records even on how it got there in the first place. One story is that it was captured by the Red Army troops during their offensive into Manchuria in 1945. Before and during the war, the Japanese had developed a significant military technological collaboration with Germany. Japanese had received several designs of military hardware, including aircraft, vehicles, rockets, and ships. It may be the case that the Kugelpanzer was one of the weapons transferred from Germany to Japan. Why the Japanese required such a weapon is a mystery. They certainly had more use for it than the Germans did, who simply couldn't use the Kugelpanzer within the Blitzkrieg tactic. The alternative story is that the Kugelpanzer never went beyond Germany. It is suggested that Red Army units captured the vehicle at the Kummersdorf training ground. It was at the same facility where they got hold of the Maus super heavy tank. What is known, though, is that only one Kugelpanzer was ever produced.